What's going on, guys? This is Nick with the Jiu-Jitsu Journal by Quotes and Chokes Instructionals. Today I'm going to share with you some techniques that you can use to prevent back injury in Jiu-Jitsu. This is not a rehab program. It's not if you already have a back injury, an acute injury, you should go see a doctor. This is something that you can do if you're starting to get some aches and some pains in there and you want to prevent this from becoming a full-fledged injury. So the main reason why Jiu-Jitsu is going to give a lot of people back pain is because of the things it's going to do to our posture. Usually what's going to happen in Jiu-Jitsu is you're going to get tight hip flexors because we're always in a posture that has our knees coming up to our coming towards our chest. At the very least, we're not fully extended, right? Our hips are always in flexion and not in extension. So if I'm on my back and I'm in my guard, my knees are up, right? If I'm on top, I'm still in this same position, I'm just flipped over, right? I'm always with my knees up. So what this will cause is tight hip flexors as well as weaker glutes, because since we're never extending our hips, we're never activating our glute muscles. And what that is going to cause collectively is a tilt in our hips, right? So when our hip flexors get tight, our hips are going to tilt this way, which is going to cause an overextended arch in our back, which is going to cause a lot of things to get pinched in there. Basically, the arch in your back is what absorbs shock and what kind of cushions the weight of your body. So if you have too little of an arch or you have too much of an arch, it's not going to be able to do its job properly, and that's kind of what tends to happen here. So the main thing that we want to do to prevent this low back pain is to always be mobilizing our hip flexors and activating our glutes. We don't necessarily need to be a bodybuilder, right, and really develop large glute muscles. We just need to be doing things to create that neuromuscular connectivity that is causing, or basically we're training our mind to use our glutes. When we don't use it in Jiu-Jitsu, we subconsciously get out of the habit of firing our glutes when we're doing other things. And then that's where that pain is going to begin to kick in. So we'll take a look at a few ways to loosen everything up, as well as get those glutes firing and support your low back. All right? Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is loosen everything up in our hips. We're going to really loosen up the hip flexors, so we're also going to do some loosening of the hamstrings too. It's generally just a good idea to get everything kind of loose and mobile in there to allow your spine and your hips to move the way that they want to. So a lot of times, so you think of everything in your posterior chain is connected. So a lot of times if you have low back pain, your glutes and your hamstrings can be tight. So by loosening those things up, it can kind of help your back be a little bit looser as well. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is kind of loosen everything up. We're going to loosen the hip flexors, we're going to loosen the hamstrings and the glutes as well. A lot of times, as well as having tight hamstrings from having our knees up, tight hip flexors from having our knees up, we also have tight hamstrings because our knees are always bent this way. And if your hamstrings are tight, you're going to be tight through your entire posterior chain up to your mid-back. So we're going to loosen all of those things. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start on my back, and usually I use my belt. I don't have my belt on me right now, so I'm going to use this scarf that I have here. So what I'm going to do is lay on my back. I'm going to hook this right under the ball of my foot. Laying back here, and I'm going to pull this up towards my head. What I need to do is keep my head and back flat on the ground. My other leg is also flat on the ground. And then as I'm pulling this, I need to flex my quad as tight as I can. Okay, because my quad is flexing, then my hamstring has to relax. It's physically impossible to flex two opposing muscles at once. Okay, so I'm gonna flex my quad so that my hamstring relaxes, and then I'm gonna dorsiflex my foot. So I'm bringing my toes back towards my face, and that causes my calf to relax. So the entire backside of my leg is relaxed, and then I'm gonna pull this up. Okay, I'm not very warm right now, so I'm not going to stretch. I'm not going to really stretch my leg. But the goal here is you want to be able to get your leg straight up and down. If you can get a 90-degree bend in your hip, that's adequately mobile. Okay, so quads and ankles flexed, and I'm pulling this up. I'm gonna hold this for about 60 seconds. The tighter it is, the longer I'm gonna hold it, but I wanna hold it for a minimum of 20 seconds. Okay, I need to hold it long enough for those muscles to first clench up and go, why am I being pulled this way? And then relax, right? So after I do this for about a minute, I'm gonna pull this across this way and bring it up towards my face at an angle, again for about a minute, okay? Then I'm gonna switch legs and do it here for a minute and do it here for a minute. Again, I'm flexing my quads and I'm pulling my toes back towards my head the whole time. Once I've done that, the next thing I'm gonna do is bring a little bit of mobility into my lumbar. I'm gonna bring my knee up and my opposite hand across, bring it this way, and then I'm going to open up my chest. So I'm gonna look away from this knee and reach this way. Okay, now when I'm doing spinal rotation stretches, I'm gonna keep the time on that much shorter. Usually I'm only gonna do this for 10 seconds, maybe 20 seconds. So I'm gonna hit this on each side and bring it across the other side. Okay, so I've loosened up my posterior chain, I've brought some mobility into my lumbar spine, and now I'm gonna hit the most important part, which is, or at least the most important part for most people. Obviously everybody is tighter in different spots, but my hip flexors is gonna be kind of the keystone in this issue. So I'm gonna kneel here, right? My foot, instead of having it, usually when you kneel, you're gonna have it kind of in a comfortable position. I'm gonna take this foot and turn it, bring it outward just a little bit. Now that leg that's back, I'm gonna reach it up, over. I'm gonna straighten this as far as I can, okay? Usually when people hit this stretch, they do something like this, and they just kind of like crank their back, or they kind of stretch their abs out. So what I'm gonna do is squeeze my glute as hard as I can, right? The opposing muscles can't flex at the same time. So if my glute is squeezing, my hip flexor has to relax, and I'm gonna tighten my abs as hard as I can. So I stay one solid column, and I'm gonna move this forward, okay? Not this, right? Just nice and straight and move forward, and this arm is up, okay? Again, I'm gonna hold this for a minute. If you want to get even deeper, you can elevate. You can put this leg on a bench. I kind of like to do that. It deepens the stretch a little bit. So I'm gonna go here for a minute, and I'm gonna switch sides and go here for a minute. Again, it's really important. Make sure you feel this stretch here. If you don't, you're probably doing something wrong. And again, the most common thing is to, instead of moving my hips forward, to move my stomach forward, and they don't really get too much of a stretch out of this. So tight glutes, tight core, move forward, reach up, and hold for a minute. All right, so the next thing I want to do is to activate the glutes. Again, I'm just trying to create neuromuscular connectivity. I want it to be a subconscious, I just want it to be a subconscious habit that when I'm using my legs or my core, my glutes are engaged. Basically, we're gonna do three things here. We can do this in sets of 10 to 15. I'm not really trying to, like I said again, I'm not trying to be a bodybuilder. I don't need to develop large glutes. I just need to get them firing and get them warmed up and turning on. So the first thing I'm gonna do is a glute bridge. If you need a little more challenge, you can do it with a single leg. But basically, I'm gonna lay on my back, feet are about shoulder length apart. I wanna make sure that my knees are not collapsing, okay? And I'm just going to bring my hips up. My abs are tight, okay? And my glutes are engaging. I'm gonna come up for 4 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4. I can hold for 4 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, and come down for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'll do about 10 of these, okay? The next thing that I'm gonna do, again, if you want more challenge, you can bring one leg up in the air. Go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 for a set of 10, right? But now obviously you gotta do two sets, one for your right leg and one for your left. The next thing I'm gonna do is lay on my side, okay? I'm gonna lay on my side, I'm gonna turn my chest slightly downward, and I'm going to elevate the top leg. I wanna lead with my heel, turn my toes down, and bring the leg like not 45 degrees, but up and slightly backward. That's what's gonna help me actually activate my glute. Doing something like this or something like this is not gonna be the same muscle group. So lead with my heel, bring it up and back, Again, 4 seconds up, 4 seconds hold, and 4 seconds down for a set of 10 to 15. Okay, I'm gonna do that on both sides, obviously, and then I'm gonna move on to the third exercise. Okay, so the third exercise I'm gonna do is going to it's gonna carry on the same purpose of activating the glutes, but it's also gonna it's gonna activate my core, which is gonna help stabilize my spine. So I'm gonna get on all fours like this. I'm gonna make sure that my core is not collapsing like this. I'm gonna keep my abs tight, and I'm going to activate one leg and the opposite arm. Okay, so I'm gonna kick a leg back, and then the opposite arm is gonna come up with it as well. Okay, and I'm gonna go 4 seconds up, 4 seconds hold, and bring it back down. Now, because on this one I can, I'm gonna do alternating sides. So this side, this side, this side. I'm gonna do that for a set of 20. So I'm hitting each side 10 times. Okay, so up and back, hand up, extend as far as you can, but don't do this. Okay, keep your neck neutral, looking straight down. My head isn't collapsed, and I'm not straining it up. My spine's neutral, and I'm activating through my core and my glutes, up and down. Alright guys, as always, thanks for watching. This has been a video to help you prevent back pain while you're training Jiu-Jitsu. If you like this video and you want to see some techniques for your Jiu-Jitsu training, go ahead and subscribe to the channel right here. Don't forget to leave a comment below. Let us know what kind of progress that you get from doing these exercises, and also let us know what type of videos you'd like to see in the future. Alright guys, thank you.